Did you know there's only been one modern U.S. president who admitted to carrying a firearm, and that this same president just had his guns seized right when he might need them most? In this video, we'll talk about why Trump, a lifelong supporter of the Second Amendment, is suddenly facing a gun ban at one of the most challenging times of his life. From carrying an HK-45 and a Smith Wesson .38 Special to facing indictment, his journey as a gun owner has taken an unexpected twist. We'll talk about how his concealed carry permit got revoked, the mystery surrounding his third gun, and why his right to bear arms is now in question. This isn't just about one man. It's about what this means for every American who values their rights. We'll dive into the rules that took away his right to self-defense and what it could mean for gun owners across the country. And there's even a way he might get his rights back, though the wait won't be short. Stick around for the details you won't hear anywhere else. So out of all the modern presidents we've had, only Trump has ever stepped up and said, "Yeah, I own firearms, and not only do I own them, I carry them too." Trump didn't just talk about supporting the Second Amendment, he's been living it, packing heat for over a decade. Now here's the real twist. Those rights were just stripped away, right at a time when things couldn't be more complicated for him. So why exactly did this happen? And is any chance he can get those rights back? Also, what kind of guns are we talking about here? Spoiler alert, we're not talking about just any run-of-the-mill pistols. Trump's got himself an HK-45, a solid, powerful piece of German steel built to handle serious business. Designed by Heckler & Koch, the HK-45 came onto the scene as an improved successor to the USP series. Chambered in the iconic .45 Auto, it packs a punch that's as American as apple pie and bald eagles. This handgun's not just about raw power, though. With its ambidextrous controls, modular grips, and tactical rail, the HK-45 is purpose-built for reliability and customization, making it a popular choice among professionals who know what they're looking for in a firearm. One of its main selling points is its recoil reduction system, which keeps its .45 auto kick surprisingly manageable. No wonder it's so popular among .45 auto purists. But of course, there's a catch: the price. Let's not beat around the bush. The HK-45 doesn't come cheap. You're paying for quality here, and that quality doesn't come with a bargain bin price tag. But if you're a guy like Trump with a taste for the finer things and a respect for well-built machinery, it makes perfect sense. His HK-45's more than just a pistol. It's a statement piece, and with Trump carrying one, you know he's not cutting corners on quality when it comes to his personal protection. I mean, yeah, you can argue that he can buy a luxury 2011 worth $5,000, but the guy's a businessman, not a pistolero. And what does it tell you when a businessman owns an HK-45, which, in my opinion, is better than Glock, SIG, FN, etc.? I think the guy has taste and doesn't mind paying a little extra to get what he wants. Trump also owns a classic Smith Wesson Model 60, chambered in .38 Special, a revolver that's been a favorite among enthusiasts since it first hit the market in 1965. This is no ordinary wheel gun. The Model 60 was the world's first stainless steel revolver, which means it's built to withstand just about anything you can throw at it, from rough weather to the test of time. Chambered in .38 Special and rated for +P loads, it's got that classic stopping power without the recoil of the .357 Magnum, making it perfect for concealed carry and reliable performance. As can be expected from a premium Smith & Wesson revolver, the Model 60 also has a smooth double-action trigger, easy-to-manage recoil, and a compact frame. This little revolver packs a punch while staying comfortable to shoot. Smith & Wesson designed it to be as versatile as they come, and it's favored by off-duty law enforcement and private carriers alike. And yeah, it's a bit pricey than most .38 Special revolvers out there, but that's what you get with quality. When it comes to taste in firearms, Trump evidently doesn't like basic stuff. He picked a revolver with a legacy and solid reputation. This gun is a timeless piece, a true classic, and whether you're a revolver fan or not, you can't deny the craftsmanship. Alright, so we've talked about Trump's HK-45, a powerhouse in .45 ACP, and his no-nonsense Smith Wesson Model 60 revolver. But he owns a third firearm. To this day, nobody has confirmed the exact brand and model of that firearm, but there are rumors that it's practically a household name in the gun world, the Glock 19. Now we all know this pistol needs no introduction. It's arguably one of the most popular handguns out there, and for good reason. Chambered in 9mm, this compact pistol strikes the perfect balance between power, capacity, and concealability. The Glock 19 has been a favorite since it was introduced in the 80s. Law enforcement, military, and civilians alike trust it for its legendary reliability and durability. With a 15-round magazine and a design that's as tough as it is lightweight, the Glock 19 is all about practical performance. And while it may not have the hefty price tag of the HK or the vintage charm of the Model 60, it's got something else. A reputation. When you need a gun that's ready to go under any condition, the Glock 19 is your no-fail companion. So Trump's Glock choice isn't about flash, it's about function. This pistol is trusted by professionals worldwide, which tells you a lot about Trump's approach to self-defense. He picked a firearm that's all business, a rock-solid choice for someone who doesn't have time for nonsense. Here's where things get interesting. Trump's right to carry has been revoked, leaving him unarmed. Fair or not, it's the kind of move that's got everyone talking. Now, we both know Trump's faced his share of legal battles over the years, whether you see them as politically motivated or completely justified. Bottom line is, he's had a rough go of it, all while gearing up for another shot at the presidency. So when the indictment rolled in last April, the NYPD stepped in saying, "All right, we're suspending Trump's carry permit. Now in New York, they don't mess around with this stuff. They make you list each gun on your permit, and if things change, they want to know." So on March 31st, right before the indictment deadline, Trump handed in his guns. But when they asked about a third one, he said, "Well, I legally moved that one down to Florida, not one to leave loose ends." The NYPD contacted Florida saying, "Hey, we think Trump's got another gun at Mar-a-Lago, so do what you need to do." And there you have it. Cross-state coordination over one man's right to carry. Now, as I said earlier, nobody's confirmed what Trump's third firearm actually is. And as far as I know, Florida hasn't even gone after it. Honestly, I don't have the faintest clue what that mystery gun is or if it was ever turned in. But let's be real here. Trump doesn't seem like the type to risk everything on something so easily avoidable. With an indictment slapped on him for 34 felonies, the last thing he'd want is another potential legal headache, like getting caught as a felon in possession. He's got too much at stake to play fast and loose with this. We know that all 34 counts tie back to those payments allegedly made to Stormy Daniels. And that's when the NYPD decided to shut down his carry rights completely. They told him, "That's it, you're done carrying." Now you might think, but he's got the Secret Service, right? Well, technically yes, but we've seen how their protection isn't always foolproof. And honestly, Trump's in a unique spot. He's as loved as he is hated, with people having very strong feelings on both sides. Sure, he's got Secret Service now, but he didn't have that luxury for most of his life. And we all know he's a fan of self-reliance. Here's the real kicker, though. Even if you're just under indictment, you can lose your right to carry. It's almost like a red flag law in practice. A grand jury decides, "We think you're up to no good," and that's all it takes to put your rights on ice, so until his case clears up, his guns are out of reach. It's a reality a lot of people don't even realize, that even without a conviction, rights can just vanish. Think about it. If this can happen to someone as high profile as Trump, what does that mean for the rest of us regular folks? Right now, he's got to rely on someone else for security, but most of us, we don't have a Secret Service detail on standby, and for the longest time, neither did Trump. So here's the kicker. Even if you're just indicted, not convicted, your gun rights can be stripped away. It's almost like a red flag law in action, where they're saying, We believe you've done something serious enough to move forward with this indictment. And bam, your rights are gone. And if they later find you innocent, sure, you get your guns back. But that doesn't help during the months or years you're left without them. Now, if you're someone like Trump, that means relying on security teams. But for regular folks, what are you supposed to do in that time without access to your firearms? And let's be clear, we're not talking about a violent offense here. Honestly, I'm surprised the NYPD didn't push harder to track down that third gun or get Florida more involved. I couldn't find any info on what, if anything, Florida did about it. Granted, there is a silver lining. Because it's a Class E felony, Trump could actually get his carry rights back eventually, thanks to New York law. If this had happened in Florida or South Carolina or most other states, he wouldn't even have that option. So for him, there's at least a path to restoring those rights, but he'll have to wait a full 3 years before he can even apply for what's called a certificate of conduct. This certificate basically restores him, saying, all right, you've been reformed and you're good to re-enter society with your rights. But that's 3 years down the road. For misdemeanors, it's usually a year, but for other cases, it could be 5, 10 years, or more. Now think about this. Tons of nonviolent felons are stuck in this same boat, waiting out these years, plus whatever time it takes for an indictment to wrap up. Imagine how many people lose their rights for something minor, sitting around without access to firearms over technicalities. I think people shouldn't be losing their gun rights for this kind of thing. I feel the same way about reformed felons who've served their time and reintegrated. If we trust them enough to rejoin society, why not give them their rights back, gun rights included? Now, Trump has about 90 days to appeal the revocation of his carry permit, but info on this is scarce. When he first applied, it was kept hush-hush, under some terms of secrecy or whatever. But knowing Trump's one of the only presidents to carry, having that right stripped over this, in my opinion, that's just total hogwash. It just goes to show they don't really care if Trump can protect himself or not. Sure, he's one of the most loved guys out there, but he's also one of the most hated. We've all seen that over the past few months. Now, without his guns, he's fully reliant on the Secret Service, not just the folks on the ground with him, but the higher-ups planning his security too. And let's be real, there are plenty of ways you can lose your gun rights that don't involve a violent crime. When we hear felony, most of us picture something serious or violent. But not every case is like that. Yeah, if you break the law, you should face consequences. But sometimes the punishment just doesn't fit the crime. That's what I see here. But hey, that's just my take on it. What about you? Should Trump have lost his rights over this, or do you think they should have stuck with him the whole time? Should this kind of felony even be grounds for losing your gun rights? Drop your thoughts down below. And if you're into this kind of content, consider subscribing. Catch you in the next one. And as always, stay sharp.